Good morning everyone, hope you're all having a wicked day. Welcome to the videos. If you guys didn't know, this right here is my brand new motorbike. It is a 2025 CBR 500R from Honda. It is absolutely beautiful, and yesterday it had its 1000k service. The thing has 1008 kilometers on it. And today we're going to be doing our first ever mods tour, which I'm very, very excited about. So as soon as I got the bike, I was hooked. I have always wanted a motorbike, and I think this thing looks absolutely incredible. There's a few things here in front of me that are going to make it sound better, going to make it look better, going to protect it, and all in all, just make my whole riding experience with this thing just elevate it to the next level. I'm so excited. I'm also keen to work on a motorbike. I've never actually done this before, and you guys will see in the background of my videos, I have my Track Integra and I have my Evo 6 behind me, and I've worked on both of those countless hours. There's a lot involved with doing them. So I'm kind of excited to see what working on a motorbike is like, to see if it's the same, see if it's easier. Who knows, might just convert my whole entire channel to motorbike content. We'll see. So actually, even before I picked up my motorbike, before I even started making videos, before I even got my license, I actually contacted some people to see if they would be interested in sending out some parts for a video. And sure enough, I got a couple of messages from some really incredible people. All right, let's start off with this one here. All right, so the first package I have here is from a company called R&G. Now, what these guys do is they make a full drop protection kit for the CBR 500 and pretty much every single make and model of motorbike. Now, the reason I got some drop protection is because I'm a new rider, and apparently it's a very, very common thing for everyone to drop their first bike. And over the 1000 kilometers I've had this bike, I have never really had even a near miss. I can definitely see how it can happen though. And so that's why I wanted some drop protection, mainly not for if I was to crash and slide, because if I was to crash and slide, I'd rather the bike just be completely written off. But at least if I'm in a car park and I just happen to drop my bike, this right here will protect it. So the first thing I grabbed from R&G was some engine covers. Now these right here will just literally just go straight over the top of the engine. And so if it does drop or slide, these will basically take the force rather than scratching up the engine cover, which would require a full new engine cover to go over it. They also shipped me out some bar ends as well. These are some longer bar ends, so that way they'll protect the brake levers and the clutch levers if I was to drop it as well. And the last thing is there's a whole bunch of like little things that are all packaged in here, but these right here are some drop knobs. So these will basically stick off just to the side of the fairings, so that way if I drop it, it won't damage the fairings. It'll simply just fall on the knobs, and the knobs are super easy to replace as well. So yeah, I think all of these combined, if I was to drop the bike, are all sacrificial, and then you can just purchase them again and then keep going, and you save your beautiful red fairings from getting scratched. So very excited for that. Secondly, I grabbed myself a mustard tail tidy. You guys can see that thing is absolutely disgusting. So this right here is going to make it look so much nicer. Small little tail tidy. It's got the reflector here as well for ADR compliance, which is pretty cool. Looks super simple to install. Very keen to get this on the bike too. And the last thing that I picked up for my motorbike, of course, is an exhaust. So I reached out to Delkovic. They actually have an Australian supplier. I believe they're a UK-based company, but even still then, their prices are really, really good. I was actually going to purchase a Delkovic either way, but I ended up getting a small little discount code even for myself. So yeah, this is pretty much all we're putting on. It's just that, straight off the end of the bike. We all know how good 2-cylinder bikes sound with just straight pipes, so let's do that. I got my bracket for my muffler. I have a little tube of paste, which I'm guessing is just exhaust sealant or something similar. A whole bunch of stickers as well. And this is probably one of the, I've never actually bought an off-the-shelf exhaust for any one of my cars at all. So this not only is my first off-the-shelf exhaust, it's also my first ever titanium exhaust. Look at that. There's a couple of exhausts that I wanted to get from Delkovic. This one here with the brush I think looks the best. It kind of suits what's already on the bike. They had a couple of like polished stainless options, but this one here I think looks the best. It's super, super light, and it's got some really nice packing in it. So I'm really hoping that this just makes the OEM sound a little bit nicer. I don't want it to be too crazy loud, but we'll see how it goes. So, titanium Delkovic exhaust. That is everything we're gonna be installing on my CBR 500 today. It all looks absolutely incredible. The first thing I wanna do is remove this exhaust, which means you guys need a bit of a sound check. There you go. So that's what it sounds like, pretty well stock. It's actually not too bad. Nowhere near as bad as what I originally thought, but I'll put this at the back of the bike so you can hear it. It's a bit vacuumy, but we will fix that today. All right, so an exhaust in these things looks super easy. The Delkovic I bought is literally just a slip-on. So literally gonna do this bolt here. Then theoretically, if I do this right here, you're joking, yeah? So there's nothing else holding it. What? Oh, are you telling me that exhaust changes on a motorbike are that easy? I have been in the wrong industry for the longest time. Unfortunately, this has to happen. Sorry, neighbors. That sounds terrible. All right, so no word of a lie, this looks like literally the easiest thing known to man to possibly do. I'm guessing that this will literally sit somewhere on here. And then this, I guess, sits like that. And then without scratching the exhaust, that slides over this and attaches up there. Wow, it's that simple. And it looks so good. All right, cool. All right, let's do it. First of all, I need to put some exhaust sealant on and we should be good to go. All right, so this looks pretty straightforward. Literally what I'm gonna do is just put a little bit of exhaust. This literally just is cool, okay. Sweet. Thin smear of exhaust paste around the whole thing. This is what I do on a car. Now this literally slipped onto there or something. All right, so probably don't need to do anything in here, do I? No. All right, so the next one I want to do is put some stuff on here. All right, put this thing here on. Should literally just slip over like that or something. So I guess the other thing to note is I'm also leaving in the silencer currently. For the simple fact that I definitely didn't want this to be loud at all. I just want it to sound a little bit louder than factory. All right, now it's all tightened up. We'll tighten up all these little clamps. All right, the exhaust is now installed. The next thing you always must do is clean the titanium, because this, if you leave fingerprints or anything on them from cars or anything, I don't know if it's a massive thing on motorbikes, but with cars especially, and titanium, you always want to make sure that this stuff is clean. It doesn't have any fingerprints, because if you do that and that stays there, that will burn into it and you'll never get it out. So the whole pipe, beautiful. Looks so cool. Alright, so the next thing we're going to be doing to the bike while we let the exhaust all set is do the tail tidy. Now you guys would have seen I actually removed the tail tidy already. It is incredibly easy to do so. There is 4 5mm Allen keys. The whole thing slides off the back. All you're going to do is lift up those tabs and disconnect that at the back. The whole thing slides out, and then I removed the indicators off one side, the indicators off the second side, and got the Mustard kit out ready to go. I want to give a massive thank you to Mustard for sending me this kit to fit up on the CBR. It's nice to know there is a sick Australian company out there that's doing some good work, creating some cool parts, and that was willing to work with a creator like myself on a bike that they didn't even know existed when they sent me out the parts. So if you do want to grab a Mustard tail tidy, this is your chance right now. Jump down, ZacBaldy 10 at checkout will give you 10% off any Mustard tail tidy. So make sure to go down, grab one right now. All right, let's fit this one. So as I said, I've taken both the indicators out. I've opted to use my OEM indicators. They are actually pretty nice. The 2025 model is actually LED, so that's pretty cool. So yes, I opted for my standard indicators. So now what we have to do is fit those indicators to the sides of the tail tidy. I am not quite sure how that fits. I wouldn't have a clue, but we're gonna work it out together. So basically that connects to that, This right here will connect to there. That connects to the bike. And one thing that I did, which not a lot of people will probably opt for, but this right here is a reflector. Now this is going to attach to the bottom of the plate, and this is what is going to make it legal, well, somewhat legal. So this is a reflector that attaches to the bottom of the plate and makes it ADR compliant. Now, tail tidies is a little bit of a gray area. Realistically, you shouldn't be putting one on your bike to keep it legal. Every single person does, and that reflector just makes it a little bit better. I'm not out to try and get myself pulled over, and that reflector, it's a little tiny thing. Once again, it matches my bike, so I don't really mind it being there. And if it helps in a certain situation, then I'll do it. Plus, even though that's tiny, this could also be the reason as to why someone sees you on the road. I know it sounds dumb, but as a motorcyclist, you kind of want to be seen all the time. So having a little reflector might help. All right, so mustard tail tidy looks pretty well straightforward. First thing I'm gonna do is attach the indicators to the tail tidy, and then we can feed up all the wires inside. All right, first of all, I'm gonna probably butcher this. I'm attaching the indicators to the actual bracket right now, and I don't think this is the right way to be doing it. Either way, the indicators that I'm using will actually attach this way, so I'm not too stressed, but I've removed the original grommet. The grommet sits on top just like that, and then is locked in by the original hardware. And then you can go in, use the standard screw, line it up as good as you can, and then tighten up the indicators to the bracket. Once again, I don't think this is the right way to be doing this, but it works. And so hopefully they're happy with me. All right, now once again, once that's on there, nothing's moving around, should be pretty good. Let's go to the second one. Now just a quick one as well, if your number plate light doesn't work on initial startup, these two here, unlike a regular bulb, are polarity sensitive. So all you have to do is if your number plate light isn't working, just swap these around and good to go. So mustard actually includes a little loom right here, so all you have to do, first of all, I'll chuck in red to red and then green to black. And once again, if that doesn't work straight up, then you can swap these around. There's actually an easy way. You can probably just plug this straight into the bike right now, turn the ignition on, and then that little LED will light up. Nice and easy. Okay, once you've got pretty much majority of the tail tidy assembled, all you have to do is start running some wires up through the back of the bike. So on the CBR 500, there is a tiny little hole at the very back that actually allows you to run some wiring through. All right, so once that's there, pull everything through. Now there's two little locking tabs that'll literally go up and they'll slide back into the two locking tabs of the bike. Once you do that, go through and just put in at least one of the 4 screws, and that'll just hold everything in place. There you go, nice and easy. God, that looks so much better. All right, so the next thing I want to do before I do anything else further is I'm just going to plug literally everything in and just make sure that everything all works. So, and then theoretically, we should be able to turn everything on and all the lights will come on. Should have indicators, amazing, and we have a plate light as well. Beautiful. All right, now the last thing I have to do is install my L plate, and also gonna do the reflector as well. So let's quickly bolt all that up. So this bolts up in behind the plate, just like that. And as you can see, it's not really much. It doesn't change much about the tail tidy at all. It's still nice, but it makes it compliant. The most annoying thing about the whole look of this bike is the fact that I have to run an L plate. It's the only thing that I hate about this bike. All right. There you go, tail tidy all done. So now comes one of the more in-depth installs. We're gonna be installing some of the R&G knobs on the side of the bike, which means the fairings are coming off. Now I'm going to be leaving them for now. I was gonna do little bar ends. I got these, they're stainless. I feel like they'll look a little bit nicer than what the black ones do on the end, because they'll match up with some of the other stainless on the bike, as well as the new titanium exhaust. Quickly whip them out, whip these bar ends off, we'll put the new ones on. I don't think it's gonna be too much of a huge difference on the back here, but it should look much nicer. So fingers crossed these OEM ones come out with these. At least I think I know what I'm doing this side now. So might be a little easier, but we'll see how we go. All right, so these right here are the R&G bar ends. They are a couple of pieces, but these are just a little bit nicer than the factory ones. I believe they're also a little bit longer, so they'll probably protect the ends of the brakes as well, and the brakes and levers and everything else as well. Line that all up perfectly. Once again, super straightforward, straight into there. All right, so the next couple of mods unfortunately require the fairings off. So that is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try maybe at the moment, just get away with doing the bottom and trying to do that, but I don't know whether, I think the knobs might actually end up going in, because they stick out roughly here-ish, I think. Might need to remove the top piece as well. I'm a little bit nervous about this. We'll see how we go. I'm just gonna get started, do all the push rivets, do all the Allen keys. Fingers crossed, it all comes apart nice and simple. All right, so all of the fairings are off on the right-hand side. The next thing I did was take out 1, 2, and 3 bolts right there. Ready for the new bracket to jump on. So this bracket here, this will basically fit up right there with a little bit of a spacer down the back there as well. And this is what is gonna be holding on that knob right there. So that way it protects all the fairings. Pretty cool. Because every bike's gonna be a little bit different, I highly recommend you read all the instructions when it comes to doing these R&G crash protectors, because you're literally removing engine mounts and removing engine case covers and stuff like that. So I just highly recommend, instead of watching me, we'll look at the instructions of your kit. I guess I could talk about one of the things why I decided to finally get into motorbikes. For some reason, I've always seen motorbikes as kind of like this weird thing where every little detail, everything you look at, they try and just make it look as nice as humanly possible. And so that's why, especially with this brand new bike, I want to make sure that everything I do is like, you know, proper and everything's followed by instructions, and kind of take my time and just make sure that everything is 100% in place, ready to go. Make sure that I'm not screwing anything up, making sure that everything's just going in as it should be, you know, making sure I'm not ripping on, you know, fairings and stuff like that. Everything here is super, super nice. Like even just his engine cover with the color it all is, the fact that it's got like this fake-ish carbon stuff here, all the textures, all the colors, all the cutouts, everything is built for a purpose. And I absolutely love that about motorbikes. I don't know why, just look at this. Everything is so beautiful and pretty, and I don't know, I could just be rambling, but it's pretty cool. So the other thing is, if you guys are actually interested in anything R&G, there is also a link down below for you guys as well. And their website's super easy to follow. Jump online, you literally put in the make and model of your motorbike, and then it spits out all the stuff that will fit it. I sent them an email, they literally said, hey, just choose stuff off the website. I literally went Honda CBR 500R 2025, and it came up with like hundreds of mods that I could do to this bike. So it was hard to just pick 3 of them, but here we are. The brackets are all on the side of the bike now. As you can see, they all line up absolutely beautifully. They look great in that powder coated black. Now, I have left off the engine covers just for now. Reason being, I'm running out of time, but then also when I was fitting them, I believe I would have to do a little tiny bit of trimming just around these little sections here. And so I want to actually make sure I have a proper Dremel tool and everything else as well for when I do that. Aside from that though, everything here is ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bolt the bottom part of the fairings back on, put the knobs on the side of it, and then from there, we can start the bike up. So you can see what this brand new Delkovic exhaust sounds like. Looks so good. Man, I love Hondas. Hondas are the best. All right, so now the fairing's back on, the last thing we need to do is basically just put these straight on the side of the whip. So they're made to be a little bit streamlined, so they basically go exactly like this. And then you do them up to the new bracket you've literally just put in. Beautiful, easy done. Tighten them up as much as you can. And the last little thing to go in, R&G plugs. Ugh. Beautiful. I guess the only thing left to do now is to do an exhaust startup. You guys have been waiting for the entire video to listen to this Delkovic. They usually recommend do it 24 hours beforehand, but we got to start it. Sorry, Delkovic. All right, fingers crossed, like OEM, but a little bit louder. We'll see how we go. Ooh, it's not too much louder at all. Nice. And that's still got the baffle in too. That's the other thing. So the baffle can always come out to make it a little bit louder, but tell you what, I don't mind that sound. It sounds really, really nice. Ooh. Tell you what, it's a little bit louder. Very, very happy with that. It's like definitely not overpowering or anything. It's really, really, really nice. Very, very, very happy with that. Oh my God. Right, well, thank you very much everyone for watching. I hope it was a good little video for you. First of all, I want to give a massive thank you to Mustard Bikes, to R&G Drop Protection, and to Delkovic. All of you guys have made my first little dream bike possible. Very, very happy with my first ever motorbike. It's gonna do me well for years and years and years to come. It looks so incredibly fat for just a little 500. These are absolutely great looking bikes. I'm very, very happy with it. That new exhaust looks absolutely sick. The R&G crash protection just looking, just chill. It's so tiny, you would barely even notice it, and that's exactly what I wanted. The bar ends as well look an absolute treat, and that tail tidy making everything, it's so much nicer than that massive, big, horrible piece of junk that Honda put on the back of these from factory. It looks so much better. Once again, there will be links to absolutely everything in the description as well. Aside from that, you guys probably noticed in the background of the video, my new garage. There's gonna be coming in a video very, very soon about what we've done with the garage. It looks absolutely insane, but for now, the bike. Everything about it, so bloody nice. I'll probably wait till tomorrow to take it out for a bit of a rip, let all that exhaust stuff settle for a little bit. Aside from that, I'm gonna get some photos, it's gonna look sick. Thank you all very much for watching. Let me know if you guys think I should do any more mods down in the comments, or any other motorbike videos you guys wanna see, let me know. Aside from that, you guys have a great day. Thank you for watching, I appreciate it. See you later.